Hi everyone, so today is just going to be a quick video. One of my least favorite people in the entire world, Isaac Butterfield, just made another video about me. Now, it was nothing but a series of personal attacks, so I'm not going to actually respond to it, but at the end of that video, Butterfield invited me onto his podcast for a discussion or debate.
One quick note before I go, we've launched a new podcast. Yeah, it's called Cancel Me Now, and it has a new channel, the Cancel Me Now podcast. And hey, Vegan Gains, I'd love to have you on as a guest. Yeah, sounds good.
So I'm more than happy to have a discussion or debate with Butterfield on his podcast, but I've been receiving a lot of comments and messages from his fanboys where they're accusing me of being afraid of Isaac Butterfield, backing down from the fight challenge that I made. So, for those of you who don't know, a little over a year ago, I challenged Butterfield to an MMA match. He ended up making a video where he accepted and said, okay, sure, let's have a fight. So I emailed him right away asking, all right, I saw that you wanted to fight me. You agreed. So let's schedule something in the future. I also acknowledged that currently there's a pandemic and there's travel restrictions, but I said, how about in the meantime, let's have a debate about veganism or related topics. And he never messaged me back. So I tried to get into contact him with through Facebook and Twitter as well. He's never responded to any of my messages to him, and he has since been spreading this lie around that I backed down from this fight challenge when I never did. He's the one who's just been trying to avoid me. And I made a video about this whole situation about a week ago where I talked about how Butterfield's been spreading this lie around, that I backed down from the fight challenge with him, which I never did, and I shared the email on screen where I tried to set up a debate and MMA match with him, which he never responded to. I was planning on fighting him. Butterfield flat out lied. Butterfield said, okay, sure, I'll fight you, and then he made another video about me saying that I refused to fight him. I tried messaging him on Facebook, contacting him through Twitter, and I emailed him. Butterfield won't respond to any of my messages, and other vegans have actually challenged him to a fight. Martin from Think About This, he lives in Australia, and he challenged Butterfield to a fight in person, and Butterfield flat out declined, so clearly this just isn't a person who's interested in fighting.
Well, he was like, in my face, he goes, you want to go out the front? And I was like, no.
Yet you actively mock people for declining a physical altercation with you, which is essentially the reason why I asked
Offered
him.
Vegan Gains to do it, but he pussied out, you big cat.
No.
No, I want to have a
Who
beer.
would pick a fight with this guy?
And I'm assuming Butterfield saw this video, and he got upset, which is why he made his most recent attack video against me in retaliation. And I'm also assuming the reason he invited me onto his podcast is to, I don't know, make it seem as though he's not afraid of me or something. Well, Butterfield, you still haven't messaged me back to invite me onto the podcast. He invited me onto the podcast, but he never emailed me, even though my email is public. It's on my About page on my YouTube channel. I've emailed you before. I also just recently emailed him a few days ago asking, like, okay, dude, I'm willing to go onto your podcast. Just invite me on. Still hasn't responded. I also left a comment on that video, telling him, okay, I'll go onto your podcast, and you know where my email is. And I even made a community post. I still haven't heard anything back from Butterfield anywhere. So I'm assuming Butterfield actually has no intention of inviting me onto his podcast because he's afraid of me. He never agreed to do this MMA match with me. He never agreed to debate me before, even though I've tried to get into contact with him before. So it's hard for me to believe that he has any interest in inviting me onto his podcast, considering he's been avoiding fighting me, debating me for over a year now, and he still hasn't messaged me to invite me onto his podcast. So I'm still willing to come on. I'm just waiting for the message, Butterfield. My schedule is pretty flexible, so I know Australian time zone's pretty different, but I can come on whenever. So you know where to email me, you know how to get into contact with me. Just waiting, balls in your court, dude.
Beef. What a relief. When will this poisonous product cease? This is another public service announcement. You can believe it or you can doubt it. Let us begin now with the cow. The way it gets to your plate and how.